evening. Welcome to yet another episode of Brandsutra Talk series, my conversation with industry trailblazers, where we'll invite our colleagues from different parts of the world to come forward and converse about their journey as a marketeers and share their experiences with us, thus we can learn from them. Brandsutra Talk series is the extension of my enduring endeavor to share knowledge and learning to all future brand custodians, creative minds, strategists, and future marketeers. So we all can come together to evolve as an industry and work towards to bringing more professional approaches and respect to what we practice. Today, I have with me a young, passionate advertising professional from whom I have been following for some time and has been quite impressed with what he has achieved in such a young age. So he is my young friend from India with a global mindset to take on the new challenging role in advertising, which has been disrupted with the digital, social media, data, and machine learning, and many other jargons which I'm yet to learn. But he's already in the central of all these with the very important role in Dentsu, one of the top advertising group in the world. Let me introduce you to a new generation advertising, Avinay Bhasin.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you so much for your kind words and happy to be here.
Sure. Avinay has a passion for consumer behaviors and he has post-graduation in economics from a top university in UK. He has been an instrumental force in driving the vision of a data science division of Dentsu South Asia as one of its founding employees. Just in 4 years, he has risen from being a young manager with Kara, the media agency of Dentsu, to Vice President South Asia of his data science division. He has won numerous industry awards, including the Impact Top 30 Under 30, the Social Samosa Top 30 Under 30, Leaders of Tomorrow, and was even featured in a 2019 Forbes 30 Under 30 list. He was also Asia's sole nominee for New Talent in UK's prestigious Data IQ Award in 2018. He has also given TED Talks on topics in advertising and future of talent. He is an active member of advertising in India and is on the board of Young Professional Program of the International Advertising Association IA India chapter. When he isn't at work, Avinay drives his passion for creating a more inclusive society as a part of his role as a founding member in the Youth Council of Kindness Unlimited. During the course of discussion today, we will also understand more about what they have been doing with Kindness Unlimited. Avinay, once again, welcome to Brandsutra Talk series. It is such an honor to have you with us today.
It's absolutely a pleasure, Jaya, and I can't wait to have this conversation with you.
Yeah. So let me ask start with the first question. As I mentioned earlier during your introduction, the advertising industry, as we know, is going through the disruption with the emergence of digital, data, social media, and many other aspects. In this scenario, what attracts you to advertising as a career? As I can see that you have a degree in economics, which is very unlikely for advertising profession, at least when I started my own career 2 decades ago. Can you share with us, about how you started in advertising? What were the learning that has inspired you so far in this journey?
Sure, absolutely. I think that's a fairly interesting question. A lot of people ask the combination of economics and the marriage with advertising. Let me actually go back to why I decided to sort of seat myself in a career in advertising. While I was just in my first year of college, I think that's when I sort of firmed up that advertising is definitely a career that I want to pursue and establish myself in. Ever since I was in school, I somehow was like, I think every youngster was connected with ads, love jingles, love watching communication on television. Mobile phones were not so common when I was growing up. Well, when I sort of entered my final years at school is when we were introduced to mobile phones, or at least I had one at that stage. So digital came a lot later. But I think my passion for advertising and consumer understanding really started early on in my life. Somewhere around the first year of college, like I mentioned, I was introduced to an economist by the name Hal Varian. Many people might know him as well macroeconomics and microeconomics, a professor and a laureate in that. But very few actually know that he, at I think a bar conversation, wrote one of the first algorithms, or rather, what should the logic be of Google's entire second price auction model, right? And I think that's where I was drawn towards and instantly made a connection with economics and advertising. So that's where I sort of struck the marriage and decided to enter into this industry more solidly.
Fantastic. And now that we see around our lifestyle today, technology has disrupted everything, from
Right.
the product and services we use to the way we shop or travel. Hence, it is no more about regular competition among the brands in the same categories, where
Right.
we can differentiate and position our product in the minds of the consumer by the traditional process of marketing, which we learn, in the old school MBAs that
Right.
we, rate at that point of time. There are more and more new categories that have broken the old business model. As a new generation advertising professionals, how are we going to add value to our clients' business?
I think if you go back to the crux of advertising, right, the main purpose, often people think an agency is just like an executioner to simply execute media briefs. But if you really think about what we're supposed to do, we're really supposed to solve challenges of agency, of clients and brands, right? And that's actually the role of advertising. I feel where the future of this career would sort of, or this profession rather, would sort of lie in is more providing is a larger service orientation and providing more services and solutions to clients and brands rather than just focusing myopically on executing media briefs. So I think that that's definitely where the industry is headed. And for agencies, it's a lot easier to go up the value chain from execution to strategy to consulting rather than consultants to actually come down the value chain. So I think it's going to be an added advantage that we're going to sort of have in providing solutions for clients and advertisers.
Great. So as you know that I started advertising around 2 decades back, and therefore like a lot of people like yourself might say that I come from an old school of advertising, but and like we discussed before, it's changing fast in the current scenario, and we all are learning the new rules in the games. Can you elaborate on your role as one of the founding member of data science division in the agency? It will be great if you can also share some examples where you have helped the client to overcome their challenges using this particular new skill.
That's a very interesting question. It's something I can talk hours about, and you know it. We normally call ourselves a startup within the enterprise. So it's much like an entrepreneurial culture that we started the data sciences division with. I think it's been about 4.5 years now that we started that division. And a lot of what we do is not just rudimentary automation, but adding intelligence to that automation product to service not just needs of one market or one agency or one solution, but to scale it out. So what I mean by that is when I actually got into the career about five years ago now, I noticed a lot of technology was first built into the West and then exported to countries such as ours, right? And very later on did they come out here. I think one of the ambitions, well, I'm one of 3 founding employees. So Gautam, who is my current boss and the head of the data sciences division, we actually set out to change that entire culture. We wanted technology exported from this region to the rest of the world, and that's what we sort of built up as the data sciences division. And a little over a year into us starting this division, we now have about 32 countries that actually use these products. Facebook recognized us as one of the best users of the information that their platform provides, and interestingly gave us something called an FMP, or a Facebook Marketing Partner Ad Tech badge, right? So it just shows that we got some recognition out of a product that we actually was just built as not just a pilot project, but something we were really passionate about, and then exported to other countries. So I think that's definitely something that we changed. And when you said well, what is that one case study that you can really talk about, or that one solution that you really provided? I can tell you that we now have over 1,200 clients of the Dentsu Aegis group all around the world that actively use this product. And for me, it's really fascinating because sitting in India, having just run a few campaigns on Facebook before, I was able to run campaigns for some of the BFSI and the lottery clients in Germany and doing really well compared to the traditional approach, right? So I think we were able to scale up very quickly because we were able to solve a lot of challenges, not just automating it, but by adding intelligence to that entire process.
Wow. Congratulations to you and your team, to be able to, I think, export the services to more than 32 countries. That's what you said, right?
Right.
And then, that ambition of yours to, export our ideas to other part of the world coming from this region is, very much a proud moment for all of us, and my best wishes.
I'm very humbled to hear that. I must confess that it's not just an individual ambition, it was the ambition of the team. And well, like I always say, right, we sink and swim together. And I think that this was just one of the bets that we took. The management entrusted us with this, and we're happy to have delivered on that for the region as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. In one of your TEDx talks, you have discussed about the impact of artificial intelligence and future of talents. Can you elaborate on this? How the job market and every single thing will be undergoing the changes with the impact of AI?
I think the question that you just asked is something that often universities and every time I talk to students, they often have that concern that is technology, is automation going to sort of take up our jobs, right? In a market environment such as this, a lot of people still have that threat, and that threat is sort of amplified. But when it comes to technology and automation, I think my view might be slightly different. I think of technology as or artificial intelligence, or whatever application that you sort of want to adapt to. I actually feel that it's like the Iron Man suit. It's to enhance the capabilities of individual. It's to augment human effort rather than replace them. There is always going to be a human need. So I don't think that's going to go away. But definitely, it's going to put pressure on the base level services that just require a lot of mechanization without the use of intellect. I think that is something that's definitely going to be under threat. But as a human being has always adapted, I am sure, and I have no doubt that we will find better use of our time and to use machine to complement our services and our potential rather than constantly be afraid of it. I mean, it's the same thought that people had during the Industrial Revolution, and look how that turned out, right?
Yeah. But is there any particular role that you feel in the agency business that will be going away to the machines?
I actually think base level, so even the technology that we built, right? Base level media planning, allocation of budgets, automation of campaigns, I feel all of that is going to be replaced or rather aided and augmented by technology. So I think that that's definitely going to be impacted by technology. But I feel positively impacted. It's going to give the human a lot more room to focus on what they should be, which is servicing the client, right? Because we are a service-oriented business at the end of the day. And I think technology is only going to enhance our capabilities there rather than put a threat to it.
Great. So this particular question that I'm going to ask, I've asked other guests as well, and I've got different responses from each of them, as we all are getting more and more fascinated with data, and you work with data, like your division, the whole division is on data science, I suppose. And now they say data is a new goal, and the global experts are saying that because of the sheer dominance of e-commerce algorithm, power with both first and third-party data, do you think there will be no role of brand marketers like me, be it old school, mostly inspired by consumer insight, because choices will now be made by algorithm while we see consumers are going for more online, which is further expedited by the recent scenario?
That's a very fair question and a very fair assessment. I think a lot of people have this concern. My personal opinion on this issue is that, like I said in the previous answer, right? I don't think technology is going to replace us in many ways. It's only going to free up time so that we actually focus on the more important things, right? First party, second party data, and with the mushrooming of e-commerce and just the velocity and veracity of data that is now available, I feel that it's going to give us a lot more information to make smarter decisions. Algorithms are only going to be guardrails to sort of run and execute your media campaigns, but the onus of the decision is always going to be reliant on the human mind, and that's where experience comes into play. That's where judgment calls will be really put to test. So I think algorithms are definitely going to make things easier, and it's definitely going to, like I said, right, augment our capability. But that doesn't mean that there's not going to be a need for us to sort of see whether things are operating on track, right? At the end of the day, even the machine was made by the man, and the algorithms were written by people, right? So I think that the human, not just the gut, but the human experience is going to be required into enhancing the solution that we sort of provide to clients and the way we run campaigns.
Fantastic. I'm very happy to hear this from a young advertising mind like yourself, that the experience is still going to count, and most probably people like us might still remain. Now that I've been studying your career, and I can see that you've always been passionate about the intersection of consumer behaviors, and now with the new age data science concepts in advertising, which you are working on, how are they going to work together to help the client's business, and how will these thinking be relevant for the South Asian markets, which traditionally has not been very data savvy?
Right. So I definitely think that there is pressure on the ecosystem to be able to collect data in a more privacy focused way. I think those are trends and themes that have been in talks. You'd know this as well for quite some time in the industry. I think just by the fact that a lot of people, or not just now that are using technology, but over the last 5 years, where there has been an accelerated pace of mobile phone internet consumption, of just the amount of information that's available, I feel there's going to be more and more information available, especially in this part of the world, for us to get more insights about consumers. And ultimately, I think that's where data and consumer understanding is going to have a very interesting interplay to be able to help brands discover audiences more efficiently and effectively, not just in a very irritating way as pop-up ads are, but in a lot more one-to-one way that is sort of going to inspire like tremendous, I think, brand audience interaction in the time to come.
Wow. It seems like there are more exciting times that is going to come in our advertising industry.
Yeah, I definitely think the best is yet to come, and there's a whole world out there for us to not just adapt new technologies, but just to have like a better connect with audiences.
Great to hear this from you. But in a country like Nepal, where I operate, we have challenges with both primary and secondary data. And in such circumstances, what do you recommend us to follow or benchmark in our business planning for our clients? Is there any suggestions?
Well, in the absence of data, I think your best companion is your gut. Your gut and your experience sort of know things from just the way you've seen it in the absence of data. But I definitely feel that there are moves, there are directions that your ecosystem is taking to sort of be able to garner more information to just make a better decision. And I definitely think that that's going to definitely change the way the industry sort of headed in your part of the world as well. Actually, it's one and the same thing. So I think that there are improvements and there are things to look forward to. But however, in the absence of data, yes, our gut is our best weapon that we have.
Very nice. I'm looking forward to that scenario where even in Nepal we can have more data, both primary and secondary data. Right. Now I remember, you had called me during the beginning of lockdown, around March, when we initiated a hashtag Basic Humanity campaign to discuss about how we can collaborate. And I guess during the same time I came to know about the organization Kindness Unlimited. Can you elaborate, like us, on what are you exactly doing with this particular organization, Kindness Unlimited?
Right. So kindness is a cause that I've been associated with, I think, ever since birth, because my mom has been an active part of Rotary. She does a lot of social service, and that's where I sort of inherited maybe the nice side of me. I've been associated with kindness for the longest time. In my second year of college, me and a group of friends, well, my closest friends, then we actually formed something called the Youth Council of Kindness Unlimited. Kindness Unlimited is a very old organization in India, but one of the pioneers in the kindness movement. In fact, it is registered as the apex body for kindness in India. So that's what the organization stands for. But if times such as these have shown us one thing, it's that we need a more kinder, a more compassionate society. I think that's what Basic Humanity did as well. And that's the cause that we sort of promote. So our main objective is to connect a giver and a receiver, right? If someone wants something and if someone has a capacity to deliver that something, then we connect them and we play that bridge, right? So we're the connectors of good in many ways. And that's essentially what we do in Kindness Unlimited and what my role specifically with them really is.
Yeah. Thank you very much for reaching out to me during that time, and it was really kindness unlimited from your side.
Likewise, I think we had a lovely interaction then.
Yes. So now that I've been following you for quite some time, and I'm quite impressed with what you achieved, as a young advertising professional, in such a short period. As an emerging new generation youth icon in this profession, what is the top 5 key learnings for the people aspiring to have similar career as yourself? Can you share some do's and don't?
More than do's and don't and five such inspirational moments. I'd really like to stick with one. If there is one thought that I can drive home to people, the one point that I want to make across is that there is no substitute to hard work. I mean, we can always look for shortcuts. We can always look for we can always have excuses whenever we've not done anything. But at the end of the day, I feel that there is nothing that substitutes hard work and our will to sort of strive forward. And as long as we are better than yesterday, I think that's a good motto to keep. It's something that's definitely kept me in good stead in my career thus far, and something that I hope to carry on. So yeah, I'd like to leave your audience with that thought.
That's a very nice thought, as long as you're good and better than yesterday, I think I'm going to follow that as well. As a parting note for the marketers in Nepal, what are the areas we should work on to do some great advertising work?
I definitely think it's more about, like I said earlier, right, about understanding consumers better. And for that, I think that there is a definite need to have systems in place that you're able to at least capture audience interactions and enough information about audiences so that you can really get the pulse of audiences. I mean, the constant tussle between a creative guy and a data guy is that the creative person always believes that his gut is the best. The data person will always say that the gut is amazing, but let me prove it with data. I don't think that they're always going to be at war. I think that creativity and data do coexist. So that can only happen once you create great consumer experiences and have enough information to really get a hold of that pulse. So that's one thing that I'd like to leave your marketers with.
Thank you. Thank you, Abhinay, for being with us today and sharing your thought. It has been a good learning for me as well. And I can see that the whole new opportunity emerging in an advertising industry after discussion with you today. Thank you once again. Hope you enjoyed our discussion.
Likewise, Ajay. I think it was a great chat and I'm really glad that we did this. Thank you for having me again.